I would say being okay to fail is the first thing. Like being okay and to do trial and error. It's probably the first aspect, and digging in deeper in yourself and constantly being able to be okay with pivoting.
Because in the long run, I think everything can work. It's all about like how long are you gonna play the game.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people, they think like they're failing, but actually it's just because the harvest is not come yet.
That's true.
Like the crop is just growing and you feel like I'm not eating, I'm starving, but like you just need to wait another day and then another day and then another day.
So one of the things that I was really interested to when you asked me to come on your podcast was you talked about usually you give folks like marketing opportunities or like understanding kind of a little bit more of that piece. And we touched a little bit on branding, and we talked about like what it looks like to be able to have like a clear vision or mission of like what you do. And, you know, one of the pieces for me specifically is for the branding or for us, the biggest piece is really like our team. Like I feel that One World Quest, even the logo, it's like if you see the logo, it's like two people coming together reaching for the stars, right? And when I decided to put One World Quest was because we are one, right? And this is our world, right? And everyone's in a quest of something, right? Like everyone's trying to find, like if we're going to talk a little bit about like spiritually, you know, everyone has a mission, right? Yep. Everyone was created with a purpose. What is that purpose? And what are you doing to help others, right? So obviously, as you mentioned, you know, confidence in yourself, you obviously have to help yourself and make sure that you as a human are able to provide value to yourself before you provide it to others. But in this specific arena where it's like a company that has like college students and high school students, and in this case, we also have an ambassador board where it's professionals in the field in different fields to support our programs. You know, what do you say is the biggest piece that, like, as an outsider, what do we offer? How can we support more the different communities that we help?
Well, before answer that, I would say, since like I like to use the podcast to show like not just the professional view, because like I mean we live in this, but I want to actually hear from you, like because you had this question, probably you also have gone through like some type of answer, like you have trying to find some answer. Yeah. What are the answers you have found it, and like why you have found this answer, like how you came to that answer?
For personally, of like the, you know. It's interesting because, you know, if we're talking about like me personally of like how did I get to where I am at in life, it took a lot of soul searching, I would say. Even from the career that I have, like I studied criminal justice, you know, like I thought I was going to be an FBI agent, like, and helping solve crime and stuff like that. And I realized like, yeah, it's not my personality. Like I'm way too bubbly. Like do you imagine like a cop, like, coming to stop you, like let's say I'm coming to stop you, like hey freeze or something like that, like you know you have to have a certain personality in a certain way. So realize that wasn't me, and then I really loved business since a very small age, and you heard my story in 1 Million Cups. Like since the age of 5 I knew I wanted to get into business, but obviously at some point like you all kids want to do a million things, right? If you ask a kid, like, what do they want to do? They want to be like a doctor, an astronaut, like they want to be a million things. So when I did my MBA and realized like, wow, you can actually create any type of business to solve a problem or multiple problems. And within finding myself a little bit more and looking at what my purpose was in life, or what was I created for? Like, what was Bridgett supposed to do in this world? When she was born, like, what was the mission? And starting from even my personal name, when my mom gave me my name, Bridgett, is bridging people together. Like I bridge people together. Awesome. And I really do feel that as a mission is I bridge people together and find opportunities for those in need. So it's like, you know, bridging or bridging that gap, right? Whether it's a skill gap, whether it's a professional gap, whether it's a hunger gap, whatever it might be, but that's how I found myself. It was about like, what am I really good at, and what did this thing make me feel? When I also am a public speaker, and when I speak in front of folks and I see people's light up with ideas, that gives me like power to like continue to be on stage and continue to inspire people. And I think that that's the piece too, is like you have to find what makes you shine.
Yep.
And you have to find like what is it that you do when you do it that makes you feel so much fulfilled and happiness inside. So
yeah, that's good. But then how you say like people can have millions of ideas and everything, how from this million idea you get to one? Because obviously you don't want to start like 5, 10 ideas all in once. You need to start from one, like how that one comes.
Well, I mean,
how it came for you?
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, if they're serial entrepreneurs, they've started more than one company in their lifetime too. So I think it's also trial and error. It's about failing a lot and failing and getting back up. So it started with me being like, I could do this and I could do that, right? And figuring it out along the way of like, maybe that's not what I meant to do, or I don't feel as fulfilled in this specific career field. I think I've worked in every single like career field, honestly. Wow. Like I've done it all. And it was really about searching like, what am I good at, you know? And more than what am I good at, what value can I provide others that it's actually like true value, right? Because I mean, a lot of people could be good speakers, but if they're speaking without emotion or conviction, it's not like the same. Tony Robbins is someone that I personally like love, because when the guy gets on stage and he tells you something, you're just like, oh, and it's not because he's like a huge guy. It's because he says it with so much love and passion that, you know, you could see it come out through their pores. So I would say being okay to fail is the first thing, like being okay and to do trial and error. And it's probably the first aspect, and digging in deeper in yourself, and constantly being able to be okay with pivoting and allow change to be a part of your life. Because a lot of people are scared of change, but change is a constant. So that's what I would say, is that's how I got to my specific role, or where I'm at, was figuring out what I was good for and what was I made for.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. It's actually, I wanted to ask you, because this is one of the things I do with business owner. There's like, it's kind of like a game, but like what I do, I normally say like the best place for you to be is where the things you're good at meet like the things that you love.
Yeah.
Like that's where you want to be. That's the best place to be, because you don't feel like you are already good at it. Plus you don't, because you love it, you don't feel like it's draining you.
Exactly.
And you can keep going even if in the beginning does not work.
Yeah.
Because in the long run, I think everything can work. It's all about like how long are you gonna play the game.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people, they think like they're failing, but actually it's just because the harvest is not come yet.
That's true.
Like the crop is just growing and you feel like I'm not eating, I'm starving. But like you just need to wait another day and then another day and then another day, because like the next day is gonna be the one that you're gonna close the client, or you're gonna get the I say like the pulse, like the new big offer that and thing. And mostly it depends. There are some. Depends what you do. You know, like there is low budget products. They don't like, you can see sales from the beginning.
Right.
Why? Because like it's smaller. You can reach more people. But for example, there are offers like coaching for me, in my case, marketing coaching, 150,000. I don't get like, it's hard to find the person that can that has the mindset to want that.
Yeah.
And also like has the money to pay for that. That means like right now I'm not getting that every month. You know, like I'm not even getting every 3 months, but doesn't mean it's not producing anything. No, I cannot say it. I need to keep working on it, trusting that in 6 months I'm gonna find the person. Like it might be 7 months, but I know because it's high ticket offer, like 150,000, it's gonna help. Like it's gonna cover a big amount of. It's gonna go longer for me. Like it's gonna cover more cost. Then like, or I can decide to sell like, because I want to see a sales right now, I can decide to lower the cost of my coaching to $50 and maybe I can sell tomorrow.
Right.
But then like that $50 a month is gonna not cover any of my expenses.
Exactly.
And plus I'm still giving out my time for it.
Yeah.
And that's where you value your time too. But that one of the way to I use for people is creating a table with all your ideas. And then like the other two column, one is about things how good I am, question mark, and how much I love it. And then you rate each of your dreams from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And then the ones that has the high, like the sum of the two, that has this higher number is the one that you want to go for. And that can be used for dream, but it also can be used for people that have already business. They make $500,000, they have teams, and they have a ton of things doing. I do the same things to help them stop doing too much.
Right.
Or like be scattered and things. But like I tell them, write it down, everything that need to be done, or everything that you're doing, and do the same things. What I'm really good at and how good I am and how much I love it. Put the number there and find like the one that you are low in number, that like your sum is really low, you find someone else doing it.
Yeah.
Should not be you doing this.
Exactly.
Because you are wasting your time and you are just burning your energy for something that is not meant for you.
Yeah. And I think that's important also to understand is like, what are you good at and what do you love and how can you outsource the rest or delegate? I mean, one of my mentors, his name was Wayne Huizenga. He started Blockbuster, and one of the things that he used to say was, I hire really good people to do the things that I don't know how to do. And I also hire smarter people than me because I want to be in a room with people that are smarter so I can learn from them, right? If you walk into a room and you're the smartest person in the room, you got to change rooms, you know? And that has stick with me because I definitely want to be surrounded with like very smart people around me so I can learn from. But like we mentioned earlier, to see like what you could delegate out and focus on what the things you really are passionate about. Because then it doesn't feel like work. One World Quest does not feel like work for me. I wake up every single morning and I'm excited to like change lives, right? I'm excited about our programs. I've been doing it for 7 years. So
yeah, and there are maybe things inside the One World Quest that you are not excited in doing it,
right.
But you can find people doing it that they love to do that. They love your idea, and they love to do that type of part of things, and that's important. And I like what you were saying, coming back to when we were speaking about interview. It's like I'm having an interview with a person, I'm speaking with a person, and I'm telling that person how to do his job. I'm not hiring you. You know, like when you come to an interview, the things that need to stand out for me is the fact that you are telling me what you're gonna do.
Exactly.
For me. And I need to be the one like, oh wow, I never thought about that. That's cool. I like that. Like if I'm the one like taking all the conversation during the interview, and then I'm not gonna hire you, because it means that every time I'm gonna have a talk with you, I have the one bringing the idea.
Exactly.
I'm not supposed to be like, I'm hiring you because I want you to do the idea. I want you to make the work done, not me. And I think that's a big thing. I mean, that's how I got my job. That was like, I was not sure I was going to get that job like in Switzerland, 6-figure, but because I had a guy with PhD in front of me, I had only a master, and then another guy had a master, but he spoke like fluent German, and he speak fluent German, and I was like, probably I'm not gonna get it, you know, like it's hard. But then like I got the job, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I was super excited, but then when I came there, I spoke with my mentor, the mentor that gave me. I asked him, like, do you know why they decided me? And he's like, oh, they like the manager loved the fact that you were asking questions. And that you were like, when you were seeing things, you were pointing out like what they were and like what they were doing, and you were interested, and you were speaking with other people, because they took us around the company to show us the company. And I was speaking with other people working and asking them like, oh, why you do this and everything. And he was like, he really saw it as, like, he loved the proactive approach they had, and the fact that I was curious, and I was not just like following him and just like okay, whatever he say, like I'm just gonna be there. And
Well, and Dale Carnegie used to say, in order to be interesting, you have to be interested. So like you were interested in people, you were interested about like the company, and you were interesting to them, because it's like everyone's favorite topic is themselves. So if you can ask someone like, tell me, what do you do and how do you do it? And you've just showed interest in them. And I think that's a really good point too, with like your viewers to, be genuine, of course. I'm sure you were very genuine when you were asking folks, like, don't just say like, oh, I love your earrings just because, like you want to comment, but tell things that are true. And the more you're interested in people, the more you'll appear interesting to them too.
Yeah. And this happens when you go in place where you love. I mean, if you don't do interview for the one that you think might pay best,
right,
but do interview for places that you might really love, like right. I loved electronics and everything. For me, just looking at that it's fun. Like even now that I'm coaching business and everything, when I meet a fellow engineer and everything, and I see something like disassembled and everything, I'm the first one jumping on it and be like, oh, wow, that's cool. Like, how did you do this?
Right.
I went to a startup pitching one night, and the guy was sharing about kind of like a new 3D visual that you can touch but without using the glass.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he was trying to put that together with GPS coordination, be able to find satellites and to have like a full map that you can turn everything.
Right.
And I one of my thesis was about like GPS, how they works, how they connect, and how to get the data, what the data, and how to create a firmware to track it, to track cars and everything. And when he saw that, like I started to speak with him, and like when really that I didn't even notice that, because I was so excited. It was something that I loved, that we ended up spending 3 hours just speaking about like satellites. And I was like, I didn't even notice that. It just came out because I love it.
Yeah.
And like the same things, like when you do interview and things, don't do interview for just anything. Do interview for things you are really excited for, because like the conversation is gonna come out by itself.
Show. It's
gonna show. Yeah, you're gonna just explode because now you love that thing, and you're like a kid in a candy store. Like you want just to eat all the candy, and you want to like all a game store. Like you want to just play with everything. You cannot be quiet.
Yeah, no, definitely, for sure.
How you how your one work quest help people on that side, because you were saying like this is how we are and everything, but like how apart from coding, how you help people develop their soft skill, their passion, their love, and everything. Because I think like it's always important to learn coding, but probably not everyone really is interested in the coding side.
Yeah.
Even if it's an important skill. But then like, what is the soft skill you add to that?
So coding is kind of just a small piece of what we do in the company. And it's kind of what I've been mostly, I guess, advertising, if that's the right word, just because we really want to make sure we teach digital literacy. But when you see a flyer of One World Quest, it says Coding and Empowerment Program. And the reason we added empowerment was because within the classroom or within like the actual course, we are teaching them the soft skills. We are teaching them how to communicate effectively. So like if they finish a game, then how can you explain this game to someone else? Now teach it. Like once you created it, turn around and teach it to someone else. Awesome. This person understood it. Now go ahead and present to people, like to the entire class about the specific subject, right? And so we're able to coach them through, how to be able to express themselves. And that is just for elementary and middle school kids, right? The high school and college kids, it's a different piece. We talk about proximity is power. We talk about, you are the average of the top 5 people you hang out with, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're hanging out with 5 people who are doctors, then you're going to be the 6th, right? Mm-hmm. If you're hanging out with 5 people who are drunk, you're going to be the 6th, right? So it really is like, who do you want to hang out with? Who do you want your people that surround you to be? And that's why we established like the Ambassador Board program, because we want to bring in influential people from the community to be able to mentor these students and to be able to influence their the way that they like do business, the way that they interact with other people by observation. So me speaking with you is I can already tell like what your values are, how passionate you are about what you do and when you coach and everything that you have to offer. And that's really important too. It's like having these students understand that like enthusiasm and passion is probably number one secret success, like that for formula. Like if you go in and I ask you like, Giuseppe, tell me about your company. And you're like, well, you know, this is kind of the thing that we do. And like your body language is not like it just kind of is down or you're not like saying things with enthusiasm and passion. I'm not going to be interested about your business. Like I'm not going to be interested about what you do. But if like you always do, if I ask you like, tell me about your business and you do, like you're exploding in excitement, I'm going to be interested in you. So it's really about that piece of like understanding how we can put people together and match people together and that they have similar in likes. So folks that are an engineer, then we would partner them up with you, like college students, where you can coach them and support them, right? And we have other folks in different areas of the field in the ambassador board. But aside from the high school programs and the college programs, someone could be looking at that, you know, this video and say, well, I'm not an elementary, middle school, high school, or college student. Like, where do I fit into One World Quest? That's where like our coaching programs come in, where we do the workshops, and then we partner up with people like you for you to come in and do things like that. Because like you mentioned, we're not an expert in all of the fields, but we do have an understanding of what the most basic soft skills are that you need to be successful in order to take your life to the next level. And we specialize in like we even do vision board sessions where like you can visualize what you want. And you put it literally like you cut out in a magazine, like old school, and you put it in a whiteboard, and you're able to wake up every day and say like, wow, that's exactly what I want, or that's what I want to do. So it's a lot of different skill sets that we have brought. And it's been a combination of me being able to build this, but I've took stuff from the best of the best in the industry. I've took a lot of methodologies from Dale Carnegie, which he wrote the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. Grant Cardone, which he's all about real estate and all about like, you know, where's my money, right? You know, like and Tony Robbins and many other folks who have been very successful in their fields. And so we bring it and we just packet it up into a portion where people can get our courses or get our workshops. And then that's like a starting point to be able to open up their minds to, to be able to advance to the next thing that they want to do in life.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think like also the big part of it is like be able to, don't be afraid to communicate. What are you feeling or what it's inside of you? That's also like really important to do it. I think like here in the university here, it's harder because normally all the tests you have are all written tests. But for example, like coming from my, like in Italy, every subject you have a written test and oral test, and the oral test is normally 1 hour and a half on the blackboard in front of all your class. Yeah. And it's good, but sometimes I've seen people break down really bad because teachers, they really make fun of you or they treat you really bad on the blackboard. It's pro and cons, but the same, like it tough your skin to the point where like when I came here for the Bible college and they were like, you need to do ERG, everyone was like, I had so many people that were like, I need to prepare 3-4 days to write to what I to say like in 7 minutes. And I was like, whatever. It's like yeah, I would not prepare. I would just go there in the morning. I would write something down in 10 minutes and just go, because like I had to do so many exam. Like we do like a master is about I think 36 exam in total, something like that. Oh my goodness! It's like between bachelor and master together. And each one of them is like oral and written oral. Then like each exam is 2 exam pretty much. Okay. Then like because if you don't pass the oral, you have to redo the written too. Okay. It's not, they don't save it.
That's
And then like when like you go through all that and you have people judging you really bad, you're like everything else in life, it's pretty much there's not much someone can judge you anymore. You know, like if you have to just speak in front of someone. But that's the power of going. Stop thinking that what people think about you really matter, and start to think about like what God say. In my case, I always say like what God says really matter. Like if God says that that's your purpose and he has called you to be that type of person, even if people say you're crazy or you're doing things, like, doesn't matter what they're saying. Like they can never overwrite what God said.
Yeah.
Like God say, like, no one can curse my people. Only you can curse yourself. Like you can decide that you are not capable, but people, they cannot decide for you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, then like,
faith is important, and my organization is not faith-based, but we work with a lot of different faith-based groups. So here in Colorado Springs, we have a partnership with the Colorado Springs Catholic Diocese, where we're inside the schools. We're trying to get into some of the Christian communities and after-school programs. And in Florida, we work with all the Jewish schools. And it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, of course, I believe in Christ, but it is awesome to have folks come in faith-based because they understand just simple about like God, right? And like you said, if God told me so, right? If this was a mission or if this was a purpose that God sent me to do, that's more powerful than anything. And I think that conversation is not used very often anymore because a lot of people are afraid to say the G word. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna be canceled. Like I don't want to, and it's so interesting also to find where there is folks like you and I who are willing to say, like, I got to say, like, I praise God. Like, everything that I have has been because the Lord has given to me. Yep. My husband, my daughter, my family, my house, my non-for-profit has been because God essentially put in my heart, this is what you are meant to be. And praise the Lord, it, as he says, and it shall be. So, it's nice that we can have conversations like this.
Yeah, exactly. And also I think like that helps because when you're focused not on the business, but you're focused on God, it also helps you to balance other things because people, they can discuss like, oh, there are so many atheists that they're like super successful in business. I agree. It's true. Yeah. But like, how is the other side of their life? Like I know many of them like be part of groups of entrepreneur and everything. These people, they go at 50 years old, they have to go through like courses about how to be married when they're 50. It's like, or like how to have friends, or like how to lose weight while their health is bad. And I'm like, yeah, the problem with that is because they put like business as a center of their life. They forget about everything else because life is not business center. Life, it's a lot more other things. It's about friends. It's about people. It's about health. It's about family. It's about kids. Like these people, they didn't even know what their kids do. Right. Like like so many people like that. And it happens also in the Christian world. Like I'm not saying that the Christian world is perfect. Like honestly, there is that. But also comes to the fact that because even in Christianity with God, we always separate like, we're trying to separate the faith from business. And like, if you're a business, you're like kind of like a special case. Right. When we speak about faith, we're just speaking about like loving the Lord or like, this is how you have to treat each other and everything. Where like business is part, like God was speaking about business. I mean, Jewish are the majority of millionaires in the world are Jewish. Yeah, absolutely. Because God in the Old Testament, all he was speaking is how to make money, how blessed they are. Then it's like, it's like, why we are trying to now we got Jesus, we got even more power, but instead to use it, we're actually separating from business instead to put together and be like, hey, I can put this together and I can have a successful marriage, a successful life with my children, a successful business, and I don't have to work like 80 hours a week. Yeah. To be able to do that, because I know I can trust the Lord on the steps that he given to me. Yeah.
I think that, I don't know how we're doing on time, but I think that's probably like a whole new other segment of like how to put God in business. You know, I would say that would be like a good conversation to have. But, I'm with you with that. I am exactly in the same way. And for me, it God comes first and everything else follows. So,
exactly. Well, like before we leave, I would like you to share some tips or like something that you feel is in your heart that you wanted the people that are watching right now, you want them to know, you want them to it's something that's in your heart and you're like, okay, I want to share this with you, and maybe there are some steps that they can take in their life, wherever it comes to your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta say, the most important thing that has really helped me grow and helped me understand what I have to do in life has been setting your standards. We talked about that briefly, but it's about understanding your blueprint of your life, the one that you created, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, no, I can't do that. I'm afraid of that, right? Or I'm afraid of heights, or I'm afraid of getting into an elevator. Like, there's a lot of restrictions that people put to themselves. And I want you to think to yourself, when did you decide that? When did you decide that you were afraid of heights? Or when did you decide you didn't want to get into an elevator? When did you decide that you were not a people's person? A lot of people say, like, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to go into a networking event because I'm so afraid talking to a whole bunch of people. Like, it's just a lot, right? So ask yourself that question. When did you decide that that's who you were? Because when you decided that, it was really in a moment where you said, okay, I didn't want to do this because of that. And guess what? Time has gone by, right? You have changed, you have evolved. And if you are starting a business, or if you want to get into a career field, and that piece of who you are supposedly not is stopping you from becoming who you want to be, then change your story, right? Change the blueprint and up your standards, right? If you want to be a millionaire, but you're working at minimum wage, then change your standards. As Giuseppe was mentioning, like, go into another interview and demand exactly what you want to what meets the standards of your life. So in order to do that, you have to get coaching. You have to find professionals in the field who can really help you. You have to find like-minded people. You have to get out of that circle, right? A lot of people are like, well, they're my friends for my life, and I went to school with them. Well, if they're not helping you and they're not, supporting your growth, then you need to change your circle, right? We talked about also, if you walk into the room and you're the smartest person in the room, you got to change rooms. Yep. So I think that's really the biggest piece is there's a lot of great webinars, there's podcasts, there's coaches out there, there's programs like mine, find help. You can't do it by yourself. Even God has talked about his church as a community base, yep, because you got to be with people to be able to be successful. All my success, I owe it to of course, God, but also the team that's right behind me and right beside me and right in front of me. It's my crew. Mm-hmm. So find what motivates you, up your standards, change your story if you need to, modify your blueprint, and find some help.
Yeah, amen. And just go back and watch other episodes. I mean, like, I trying to bring all these amazing people like you that they can help them. Like, they can help them, like, change their mind, and you were saying before, like, it's kind of like having an old mindset. Like, until you don't change your mindset, you are not going to really be able to see changes in your life.
Absolutely.
And that's where you need, and if you need help, find help. Like, it can be me, but it can be someone else. It can be also you, Bridge. Like, if they have fun connection with you, go contact Bridgett, and like, all the information would be in the description. But even more, if you want to help her, if you want to support what she's doing for kids, for middle school and college students, and if you have kids that you are like, yes, I really want them to learn about coding, that's the opportunity. Now you have a person. I present you a person that can help them. Contact her. All the information will be, the website will be also in the description. Please do it. And thank you very much for watching this episode. Thank you very much, Bridgett, for being part of this episode,
Absolutely,
for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and your experience. And please, everyone, subscribe, leave a like, a comment. Let me know what has touched you, and also if what you heard was something that you really needed to move forward. I will really love to hear your testimony. And again, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Take care.
Take care.